Welcome to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation's Conversations at Home program. I'm Jenelle Riley with Variety. And now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce from Barry, actors Bill Hader, Henry Winkler, Sarah Goldberg, Anthony Carrigan, and Stephen Root. Thank you all so much for being here.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, really, it's fun. We never get to be together all the time, so this is wonderful.
It's the best.
I was going to say, like some of you don't get to even share scenes, so this must be fun.
This is the first time I've seen everybody with out a mask on. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, this is an audience of your fellow SAG-AFTRA actors, so I actually always like to start by asking, how did you get your SAG card? What was the job that brought that special piece of paper, I guess, to you? And let's start with Sarah, because she looks like she knows.
I was just trying to remember. I think it was an episode of Elementary that did it. Yeah. I think I have 3 lines. I think I was Mrs. Truepenny. Yeah.
Great name. Wow. Looks great on a resume.
Right?
Anthony, for you?
I'm not entirely sure, but I think I cut my teeth with an episode of Law and Order, Criminal Intent.
Classic.
I was the bad guy.
Really?
Yeah, not gonna lie, it was one of my first gigs. So just go easy on me if you decide to pull it up and watch it. I feel like I've come a long way.
Henry, for you?
Okay, this is embarrassing. I do not remember. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with maybe the Mary Tyler Moore Show. No. It was a movie by an Italian director called Crazy Joe. In New York City before I left New York to come here to California. And the star was losing weight. So every day in the van, we stopped at a doctor and he got shots of lamb urine. And we went.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So you were not Crazy Joe yourself?
I was not Crazy Joe. I was his driver. And I will tell you that I auditioned for this Italian director. And I'm telling you, I sat down and before my tush hit the chair, he said, "Thank you very much." And I said, but I didn't, thank you. And so I left and then I got a call that I got the job and I hung up because I thought it was a joke because I said not one word. And I went on to do that movie.
Wow. Stephen, I'm so sorry to ask you to follow that, but do you know what your job was?
Yeah, it's not anywhere near as interesting. I think it was an industrial.
Oh, cool.
Of Siskel and Ebert. We were playing, I was playing Ebert and somebody else was playing Siskel. And I remember there was so much dialogue. We had to have a prompter and I did a lot of eating of a Subway sandwich. That's what I remember.
So you were pretending to be Siskel and Ebert in some sort of training review?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I did and ate.
And Bill, it looked like you were having trouble remembering, so I saved it last.
I had to think for a second because I was on the show Punks, but I don't think that was a SAG show. I think we got paid in soda or something. But no, I was I had a one line in a Larry Miller pilot. I was a valet. Me and a guy named Jim Cashman, who he's really funny. He's in a lot of those progressive ads, with Flow, and he and I were the 2 valets, and it was, and I was like, I think I'm going to get my SAG card on this. It was kind of us sitting dressed as valets, kind of like, wow, this is awesome. And, it was like, I'll take your key, sir.
Very good.
And so just practicing that, alone. Gonna take your keys, sir. Can I take your keys, sir?
That's great. Well, look at how far you've all come. And I think I speak for everyone and I say, we've missed you so much. Season 3 has been worth waiting for. At the point that this airs, we're about halfway through the season. And so I just want to start at the beginning with Bill, because obviously after the response to season 1 and season 2, and every single person here being Emmy nominated, was it a little intimidating to start mapping out season 3?
The big thing we always try to do is try to figure out, like, well, how do you, how does the show grow in a way? And it's, not, kind of doing the same thing. So I think the first day in the writer's room, it was just decided that, the class is closed. Once we kind of made that tough choice, it, kind of, it forced us into other areas. If we just said, Kuzno's class is over with. And I think that kind of set the tone for writing this season of just leaving us a little off balance and going, okay, let's delve more into what these characters are going through, so, but it went through a lot of permutations. And, 2 weeks before we did our table read, and then, the next day the world shut down. Basically. And so
after getting off planes and
everybody had just got off planes, and we were at the table making nervous jokes about, can we hug, can we shake hands, can we, and then I was at a meeting with Aida Rogers, our producer, and I saw the NBA had been canceled, and we just kind of looked at each other like, shit, I think we might have to be down for 8 weeks.
Imagine.
But then over that time, over the pandemic, we said, well, let's write season 4. And as we were kind of mapping out season 4, we kind of went back and started rewriting season 3 almost completely, so a lot changed. So if the pandemic hadn't happened, I think season 3 would have been way different.
Yeah. And something I really appreciate about the show is that it does take these bold moves. Like, I was thinking most shows would have waited till season 5 for Kuzno to sort of find out Barry's involvement, and you don't back away from it. You hit the ground running this season. And Henry, I'm just curious for you. I mean, Gene starts this season at such a low point. There are some really heartbreaking scenes. How did you sort of feel, first of all, knowing that, the class was closing and what his arc was going to be this season?
In reality, losing the class was not big to me, because I go where they point me, and there is such thoughtfulness behind the making of this show on Bill's part and the Bill's partner. It was losing all of those actors. Every one of them was a home run hitter. And thank God, Sarah and Darcy survived. But the other actors in the class, they were lovely, lovely human beings to be with. I miss them.
They're still alive, by the way.
Yeah. I was talking.
We actually killed them all. They didn't die.
Theatrically.
Some promotional event in a plane or something.
They're actually all doing really well.
Actually, they're doing absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I think most of them have their own show right now. Yeah, it was one of those things where you made the call and it was like, oh no.
No, I'm not available. They were all so brilliant. They brought so much energy. We miss them. We miss their energy.
Yeah.
And Sarah, I mean, I think your character is probably doing the best out of everyone so far. What's it to get to play this more successful, empowered side of Sally?
Well, it's really interesting because we've seen Sally as the underdog for a couple of seasons in her career, but with this kind of tunnel vision myopia that she wants this thing so badly, she can't kind of see anything else. And now she's getting a piece of what she wanted so badly. And maybe it's not what she thought it would be. And it comes with so many other conflicting feelings. And I think that, there's a little bit of be careful what you wish for. Mm-hmm. I did try to my favorite character on TV right now is Tom on Succession. And I feel like I wanted Sally to be like Tom, because I'm interested in how like that character is so, like when he's bullied, he's so vulnerable and you care so much. And then as soon as he gets a little bit of power, he becomes a bully himself. And I think Sally suffers from that. You know, she gets bits of what she wants, and then she doesn't know really how to treat other people.
Mm-hmm. And I think you see that a lot in her relationship with Darcy's character, but I also understand why she's that way.
Yeah, and she's not doing it out of malice. Like that's what's so fun to play about it. It's kind of guileless cruelty, because she actually thinks she's giving Natalie a compliment. Like when she's asking her to chop up her apples into the tiny little bites she does because she's so good at it, she means it, you know. But it's such a horrible thing to say, and that's what's fun. And we've seen her just in the scene before that, sort of the bottom of the sort of hierarchy with her boss, and she's like monosyllabic in that, and sort of, you know, wants to please and wants to get it right, and then she immediately flips to someone who's a bit of a bully. So that was really fun to play around with, and they did a great job in the writing as well. It was really fun.
And Anthony, I mean, I don't need to tell you, the response to NoHo Hank has been incredible. Was there a moment where you realized you sort of entered the pop culture vernacular?
I think when I got gift, you know, I got gift, I got memed. People were just sending me. There was this really weird thing too, which is like a face swap, excuse me, app where you could essentially like play a scene from a show or a movie, but you can put your face on it. So my friends were sending me like Hank dancing on the rooftop, but with their faces on me. And I was like delighted and absolutely just horrified.
We get to see a new side of Hank this season, a really romantic side. Actually, I wouldn't say it's a new side, but it's confirmed, I would say, in some ways, his relationship. When you found out that was happening, what was your reaction?
Well, I was just so excited to be able to kind of, you know, go deeper into this character and find some different shades. And honestly, it was really rewarding to just see Hank starting to kind of get what he wanted, you know. And it's so funny too, because a lot of audience members would be like, you know, oh yeah, like 50-50 with Cristobal, like love that line. And they have no idea, like they didn't really put it together. It's like, well, yeah, 50-50 with Cristobal, like you're about to see a lot more of like 50-50 with Cristobal for sure. But no, it was honestly just such a joy to come back to this character and just see Hank start to really get what he wants, but also feel this immense pressure at the same time, because getting what you want comes at such a cost in this show. So yeah, that was extremely rewarding.
Stephen, I was thinking about how when you're in a project, you know the ensemble is going to be iconic. I'm thinking like all the way back to News Radio and Office Space. What is the secret to finding yourself in these fantastic ensembles and that chemistry?
Amazing luck. Amazing luck to be able to work with. I mean, the shows that you mentioned, they're special. You know, you only get a few of them. This is one of them, where you get to work with an unbelievable ensemble. You know, and you get maybe a couple of three in your career, and I'm so happy to be included in this one. This character is so fun, and it's changed from what it was originally, as Bill will tell you. He was just kind of a yelling guy, and they made him into a much more interesting bad uncle type character. And the dichotomy between the two, Bill's character and mine, is you'd think my character would evolve, and he doesn't. and it's kind of wonderful that he doesn't. He just can't. He tries so hard. Yeah, no.
I mean, all of you have such great chemistry with each other, and I would love to know how that developed. Bill, did you know any of these other actors when you cast them, or did it just come about naturally?
No, it just came about naturally. I mean, it was just being with our great casting director, Sherry Thomas, and walking through people and you know, I mean, obviously I knew Henry and Stephen, and, you know, they were two people that were on the list. And then, you know, Anthony and Sarah just came in and read, and we were like, you know, I mean, they were both people when they read. Sherry Thomas called me. She's very good, and said, I think Sally just came in. You know, wow. I think we found no
years ago.
Yeah. But it was a thing, you know, it was kind of like, wow, this is exciting. And I'd never been through that process before. I'd never been on the other side of the table, you know, in those situations. So but yeah, no, that was Sherry Thomas. Our very first meeting with Sherry Thomas, she goes, I've written a name for Gene Cousineau, and I want to know what you're thinking. I'm like, oh, and I was like, Henry Winkler, and she showed me, and it said Henry Winkler.
Wow. So, yeah. Henry and Stephen, your characters both sort of started the series as, you know, more paternal towards Barry. Is it challenging to play these scenes where you're at odds? Because in some ways it kind of breaks my heart to see this divide.
I don't know. My character has always loved Barry. He as much as he wants to do something to him, he loves him, as he really, really has a deep love for him. He just can't. He just can't get it out. He can't get it out.
Yeah.
You know.
You're the most brutal to the thing. Like we're working on these. It's always like, remember, Barry loves Cousineau. You know, Fuchs loves Barry. Loves him. And when you love someone that much, those are that, and you're hurt. That's where you're most cruelest. You know, because like what, you know, in the writing, I would always say, like, remember what Fuchs's plan is. It's like you know, it's this awful thing he's doing at the end by episode 4, by going to the victims of Barry's, you know, the families of his victims. But it's kind of like a, you know, cry for help. It's, you know, it's saying, hey, look at me. Hey,
yeah.
You know, hey, I'm still here, man. You know, that's his version of it, you know.
I was thinking of it as a, like, if I can't have you, no one can.
Yeah. It's a little more innocent than that sometimes in my mind, but I don't know, Stephen, what do you?
No, I think that too. And I think that's true of, you know, your character as well. And I mean, the No Hank character as well. I mean, he is such an innocent. He is really an innocent and a good-hearted person, you know. And but it's just complicated.
Henry, for you, what's it like to be so at odds with Barry this season?
Wow. I will honestly say my professional life started on June 30th, 1970, with the Yale Repertory Company. This was the most intense work I have ever done in my entire career this year. But we also have unbelievable leaders. You know, Bill does like 7 jobs and is seamless in moving through each of them. He is your acting partner, he is your writer, he is your producer, and he is our director, along with Alec Berg, his partner. And so when I got lost, I just looked to Bill, and Bill and Alec always had the answer. They always got you to where you needed to be. I have this thread connected to Bill where from the very beginning, where I go, he went, and where he goes, I go. And I am grateful.
I appreciate that, Henry. I'm still working on not mouthing your guys' lines, though. I do mouth along off camera. I'm always like.
But you know what is so incredible is that if you're funny in a scene, Bill is such a generous audience that in the middle of a blood-curdling scene, and you're funny, Bill laughs, and over his shoulder, if they're shooting you over his shoulder, you see his shoulders
Yeah, all the people here have made me break multiple times. I think Sarah had a scene where she just had to go, "What?" And I couldn't get through it because every time
You couldn't use any of them.
I would laugh every time because I knew it was coming up. I'm like, they just like me. And she would go, and I would see it coming, and I would start laughing.
There's a little shake like here, and then we're both gone every
Yeah,
time.
there's a little shake, or like, or just a look. You know, you just can't look. It's like,
yeah, there's a scene in season 2 where Anthony's getting mad at this accordion player, and if you watch it, I had my head turned this way the whole time because I was just anticipating the minute the accordion would go in and Anthony would go, and I would just look over. Yeah.
Is that why so many of your scenes with Anthony are now over a phone?
Yes. Yeah. I think most of them are over the phone. Sarah and I have a scene in episode 5. So you guys haven't seen that one yet, but there's a scene in episode 5 of us where I had to like look at her chin because I could not get through it. I kept laughing.
We did a lot of phone acting in this season, actually.
Yeah, everybody's spread out this season.
I'm calling.
But you're really great with animals, Steve.
Steve, you and those goats are.
I could watch a whole show of just Steven and the goats.
They were sweet. They were sweet. Oh my goodness, they were wonderful.
I have a funny.
Come on, girls.
I have a very funny image of Steven out there with all those goats, and they had these goat handlers with them, and the goat handlers didn't realize that they couldn't be in the shot. And I have this image of Steven with all these goat handlers around him with the staff, and I was like, all right, rolling, and the goat handlers just stood there, and Steven very politely kind of just looked over at me like, are they leaving? And then Gavin, our great first AD, was like, hey, everybody, we need you out.
Come this way. Come this way.
And then all the goats would follow them and be like, no.
It's Stephen the big goat, and he will take them.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic goat handlers, just trying to, steal that spotlight.
They're trying to get their SAG card.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was.
Stephen, they say never work with animals or children, and yet 2 of your best Barry experiences have been with goats.
They have. And I'm in love with goats now. So as I say in the show, I had no idea I was great at everything goat, but I am.
Yeah. I don't know anybody presented this earlier.
that line didn't make it in, but
no, it didn't. I love that line. But
I have no idea why no one presented this earlier.
Anybody presented this to me earlier.
Yeah.
One thing that comes up time and time again when I talk to people is about how realistic and accurate this show is for actors. It might also be for hitmen. I just don't know any. But how often do your own personal experiences get used for scenes, in these acting classes, or for the cast? Have you been called upon to bring your own experiences to playing these roles?
Well, I think that acting is you start with yourself, and then you add on conditions about what is written about you, what other people say about you, the situation you're in, how you feel about the situation you're in. So it's a constant layering, like a delicious cake. And then eventually, and hopefully the character emerges and is compelling.
Every time Henry talks, Bill starts to smile and laugh. Does that happen on set too?
Yeah. One time I had him and Fred Melamed in a car together, and I was directing a scene, and I had my headphones on, and us driving back, hearing those guys talk about children's theater in New York in the 60s. And I was just like, I was so happy of just hearing Fred Melamed going, I also played Captain Hook. Right after the I think Henry told a bunch of kids you were Captain Hook, and you told a bunch of kids they were getting nothing for Christmas.
Yeah, I did several plays in England called pantomime, and I played Captain Hook. And if the children, you throw candy at them, and then they yell at you, and they yell at Peter and say, "Oh, Captain Hook is right behind you." And I walked to the edge of the stage. I said, if you do that again, I'm coming to your house and I am taking your presents.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And just hearing that, and then Fred Melnick going, oh, wow. That's fabulous.
Since we do have so many actors watching this, I was curious if you might be willing to share your worst audition experience with us, because I think we all go through that. And Anthony looks like he has one right off the top of his head, but I could be wrong. No,
I sure do. It was back when I was in New York. I went in for this, independent film, and the director of this film just happened to be absolutely out of his mind. I came in and I started doing the scene, and he told me to stop. And then he was like, is there anything that we can blindfold him with? And I was like, I have a scarf. And so I took my scarf and I began to blindfold myself with the scarf. And he said, no. Don't you blindfold yourself. You. And he went, and he pointed to the assistant. The assistant came over and blindfolded me. And
where was SAG?
Are you sure this was an audition?
Exactly.
I swear to God. I swear to God. And so I was then blindfolded, and he was just like, now do the scene. And I was like,
you're like,
I was just
Geico is great insurance.
Okay. And so, at that point I was just like, also I wasn't completely off book, so I probably just completely butchered it. But I'm pretty sure he had a mental breakdown at the airport after in New York. So it all tracks. Did
the movie get made?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Green Book.
Yeah.
Henry, for you?
I was at the Arena Stage Theater in Washington, D.C. I was with Chris Guest and Michael Tucker and Jill Eikenberry, and Jimmy Woods was there before he went on a trip. And all of a sudden, I had solved the third act monologue, and I went to the director and I said, I solved the third act monologue and I can't wait to do it. He said, you're fired. And I heard it like my brain was in cream cheese. You're fired. And then I cried all the way back to New York City, driving my car, and I thought, who is going to hire an actor who has been fired? And here's the story. Your career is long and your talent is rich. So if people are like idiots to you, you survive, and where are they?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's true.
True. Did he ever say why you were fired?
Yeah. I found out there was another actor who was doing a movie in Hollywood. So I was a filler for 3 weeks while Kevin Conway was doing a movie. And then he came in, took over. He was the first choice. So I was being paid to fill seats.
Wow. I mean, do you almost wish they had just been honest with you? Like you probably would have still taken the job.
Yeah.
Oh, I would never do that to anybody in my whole ever in this life or thereafter.
No.
It was horrible.
This goes to show you.
I literally thought I will never work again. That's it. I'm at the beginning of my career. I got a $10 raise from being at Yale, where I got $173. Now I was getting $185. And put my snow tires back in my car and wept for 3 hours.
Which is making Bill laugh again. Sarah, what about for you?
Well, I had a lot of horror shows, but honestly, the one that sticks out is a bad audition that ended up going well, because I used to do a lot of theater and not a lot of TV, and I couldn't do TV auditions. I couldn't, if there was a camera in the room, I was in a panic, and I was all red and nervous and panicked. And I had this audition, and it was for a job I really wanted. And I went in and I was so nervous. And when I got in, the casting director, I went to start, and he kept like doubling over in like excruciating pain. And eventually I was like, what's going on? Anyway, he had kidney stones.
Oh.
I said, like, Mark, it was Mark Sachs, like, you got to go to the hospital. Like, this is really serious. Like, my dad gets kidney stones. You got to go. And he's like, no, let's just get the take. And I was like, no, I think you should go to the hospital. And so we got in an argument about him going to the hospital. And eventually he said, just let's get the take. And so we went rolling, and I just bashed out the scene without even thinking. No time to be nervous, because I was so worried about this poor guy needing to go to the hospital. And so I got my first proper television job, because it was a thoughtless performance, I guess. And I feel like it's like my real lesson in acting is like, acting's actually easy. It's just very embarrassing. And so you can just get out of your own way and leave yourself be, maybe you're going to produce something.
That is true. That is so true.
It's weird how the less you care about the thing.
And Mark was fine. And I was very grateful to have the job.
I hear that.
Can I say this? Because I had the same kind of thing where I was doing theater, all theater all the time, until I finally got to New York and got to LA and started doing some TV stuff. And I was in for LA Law. But I had just gotten off the Driving Miss Daisy tour and playing big houses. So I was in big acting mode. And I came in and I had these big old glasses, and I had a complete character and ready to do it. And I'm ready to start. And I got, just take off the glasses. Okay. Just talk to me. And that was a huge lesson. That was a huge lesson to learn. And got work from, it's a different medium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think casting, something that I really love about this show is that it shows that casting directors really are on the actor's side. A lot of people think it's adversarial, but it's not. Yeah.
The thing I learned is when you watch that tape or you go in their room, you do have all the status in that room when you audition. That's the thing I didn't know.
So they want you to get the job.
When you go into the room to read, everybody's going, I want this to work.
Yeah, they're hoping you're going to walk in and show them who the character is.
And also, auditioning is really important because the executive, their lifespan is very short at a network or at a studio. And, you go in and you sit in those metal chairs around the room, and the other actors go, "You're Henry Winkler. What are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm looking for a job. You?" Because, and then there are those actors who say, they know my work. They can watch me on tape.
Yeah.
And they need to see you in the room. They need to see you because they are so petrified for their own job. You need to go.
Yeah. Henry and Steven are, two amazing, long careers and massive fans, and they both read for this show.
Really? I was going to make a joke about that, but they really did.
They both came in and read. I was
that person in the waiting room going, "What are you doing here?"
To walk out and them saying Henry Winkler is out there, and I walk out and he has his sides in his hand, and then same thing with Stephen Root. I remember pacing up and down, and they're going, "He's here," and it's one of my favorite actors, and I got to go in and read with him, but also read him, and it was kind of like.
I know Henry was just as nervous as I was.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
And what is interesting is now I've watched Bill Hader with my wife for years, making us scream on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. And now I'm in this room. There's a camera and Sherry Thomas. And out of the corner of my eye, I see I made Bill Hader laugh. I made Bill Hader laugh. Then I call Sherry up and I make her, because I'm an acting teacher, I make her part of my audition as one of the students.
Yeah.
And she was very available. It was a great room. Now I walk out and there is this young lady walking up and down the hall, creating a tumult. And she's going to read for Bill. And as I walk down the stairs to my car, there is this lovely woman sitting there, very quiet, to herself. I said, "Hi, I'm Henry." She said, "Hi, I'm Sarah." I said, "You know, I have a feeling you're going to be great." And I walked on and got in my car.
No, Sarah, continue that story.
Well, so he pivots and he goes, "Hi, I'm Henry," and I'm thinking, "Hi, I'm hallucinating." But I was living in New York at the time, so I was like, maybe this is what happens in LA. Like the Fonz is just at your audition, and that's just how it goes. And he said he wished me luck. He said break a leg, and I just thought it was the kindest 3 words I'd ever heard. And I said, "How did yours go, Henry?" And you said, "I tell you, if I had an answer to that question, I'll tell you this much, I had fun." And you walked out so just full of poise. And I was so amazed, and I felt like I'd been touched by an acting angel. And then I looked down at my script, and then I looked back up, and there was a huge window, and I could see the parking lot. And then I saw Henry just pacing the parking lot looking for his car. That's the full spectrum.
And you have it.
That audition.
Yeah.
I have to make a confession, Stephen. I just got a new car.
Yeah.
And it is exactly yours.
Oh.
Same color.
I love red. The color's great, right?
Same model.
Exactly great, right?
I am so sorry that we're out of time because we didn't even get into how accurate the press junkets are and how I feel personally attacked by those scenes. But thank you so much for joining us today. And on behalf of the SAG-AFTRA Foundation, thank you for sharing your experiences and process and craft with your fellow performers.
Thanks.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.